Welcome to the World Tour of Meditation. I'm so excited today to have with us Meir Schneider. Meir, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I was born with cataracts, and I had 5 unsuccessful surgeries. And you can maybe show it in the screen later on, how my lenses look. Jean, can we have the lenses? Yeah. And so after 5 cataract surgeries that were very unsuccessful, and very few people are born with cataract. So you can take a look, like this is a normal lens, my ex-wife's lens, and this is my lens. Broken into pieces and with tremendous scar tissue. And this is my better eye, my right eye, okay? So 99% of my lens is scar tissue. And I was raised as a blind kid and ended up reading Braille. I was the quickest Braille reader in the state of Israel. When I was a kid, the story is that my mother would say, time to sleep. And what's interesting, my parents were deaf. I was blind and they were deaf.
Wow.
And I would put the book under the bed, and she would go to sleep, and she wouldn't hear it. I took the book off and continued to read. Once in a while, she caught me sleeping with my hands on the book. But I was the quickest Braille reader, and then I didn't like the idea of remaining blind. And I always was dreaming about a medical treatment that will improve my vision. That did not come. And so as soon as I discovered natural vision improvement exercises, I spent 13 hours a day working with them. So my motivation to improve was huge. And I'm still, just a couple of months ago, I worked with a wonderful kid from India. A kid, he's 18. Mm-hmm. He came with his 2 parents, wonderful parents. And they actually are not citizens of Singapore. The father has a working visa here, but without letter, they came here. And I saw his devotion and his intelligence in learning to look at details with his eyes that were very nearsighted. He lost central vision in one of his eyes, and we want to prevent it in the other eye. And he was looking at details. And that's what I've done. First of all, I learned to relax my eyes with an exercise we call palming, where I rub my hands and move my arms in rotating motion. And I put my hands over my eye orbits and visualize darkness. And it's interesting. When I was a kid, again, that's where deafness was good for me. I used to palm and listen to rock and roll music, which was relaxing to me. These days, I prefer classical, of course. But, being 17, my parents did not hear it, right? So I could blast it all I wanted.
And I'm sure that had its healing power in it.
I learned to relax. Something that wasn't in my making until that. I had an involuntary movement in my lens, in my eyes, 300 times per minute. If you think about it, it's like when I want to look straight, my eyes move to the left. I want to look to the left, they move to the right. And you can never focus on anything.
So tell me a little bit about relaxing. We're here at your school and you've shown me around, and I noticed that in so many places, there's these 3 words written, right? Breathe, blink, relax.
Exactly.
So when I think of breath, often I think of these yogic traditions of breath, and then I think of mindfulness, and I think of meditation. And when I think relax, I kind of think of relaxing in bed or relaxing after yoga. But you have blink in the middle. So tell us about relaxation here.
It's not necessarily that you relax so much in bed. You go to bed, you could be tense and wake up tense. People today are so crude in their viewpoint and say, you sleep 8 hours or you'd be in trouble. Well, the question is, how did you spend those 8 hours sleep? Right now, as we sit and we have a pleasant conversation, we still want to cover an important thing. We still want to cover an important subject, but we're not putting a lot of tension into it. We really have the belief that we can do it. While sitting and looking at the computer, or while looking at the smartphone and seeing us and talking, you can choose between breathing deeply or not. You can choose if you also pay attention to your periphery, which means everything to your side, or you just are looking at the phone or looking straight at the screen and not paying attention to things on your side. So relaxation comes with movement. Interesting. My eyes move at the speed of 300 movements per minute, but actually what relaxes them is me looking at different things, looking at details. And to continue and explain to you the idea behind overcoming my blindness is that for me, the whole world was one fuzzy object, smudge. And so if I would look at you, I would see your shadow. I wouldn't divide between too many things. If I was in a little bit farther distance, I would think that you and the furniture are one and the same. Okay. I was in the world of touching. These days, people don't like the idea. They put the unfortunate sexual connotation behind it. But touching could be a very good thing. Animals touch each other. Wolves lick each other. Cats lick each other. Monkeys groom each other.
And human families hug each other often.
Right. And also, people out of passion, for example, I show somebody how to see better and they hug me. It's an okay thing, But what I'm saying is, I used to touch a lot because I used to feel a lot.
Right.
And slowly I transported that. I did what you did when you were 8 weeks of age. When you were 8 weeks of age, that's when you started to look at things. Normally close things to you, not far away things from you. So you would look at details. And then if you pay attention, most parents and grown-ups like to have all kinds of toys, some of them noisy, to stimulate the infant to be looking.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing because the infant needs stimulation. In fact, if you have good stimulation, we discovered that actually you can even create a missing part in someone's eye in the infancy, like missing macula, missing iris. That all happened in my practice, the practice of practitioners in my work who studied with me. So the idea is to look at detail. So it would take time. And then I would see that your head is narrower than your shoulders. And I would start to look head, shoulders, head, shoulders. Then I would look from head to head. And then I would eventually would see that there's a finger and gap. And I would keep looking. Then I would look at you and slowly, it wasn't just a flat face, it was a nose. And it was a place for an eye. I would not have been able to see each eye, but look. Now that's a form of meditation, which we call shifting. You did it automatically. Yeah, you did it automatically when you were 8-week-old until you were 2.5 years. And normally at the age of 2.5, people see extremely well. If you lived in the jungle, your vision only gets better throughout the years. If you live in San Francisco, your vision will get worse. Let me give you a good example. In the Amazon, 1% of the natives is nearsighted. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, same country, 49% of the people wear glasses. What's the difference? In Sao Paulo, Brazil, they look at smartphone and computers and books. In the jungle, they look at birds, at trees, at leaves.
So tell me how in today's age, when we're so glued to our smartphones and computer screens and all this digital technology, how can we practice shifting, or how can we practice peripheral vision even with a focus?
So to begin with shifting, everything that you look at, you want to look at the smallest possible point where you're looking. So, because the most important part of our retina is called the macula, macula. And the macula sees really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only 1.5% of the total visual field. So the smaller the area you look at, the better it is. And the problem we have these days is that people learn to do speed reading and they look at a whole paragraph, sometimes a whole page at once.
Yes.
And that's a mistake. We are preferring a lot of reading over essential reading and over dwelling on what we are reading. The time when people read a poem and paid attention to every letter and every sentence is gone. These days people are reading prose, and some of it is really boring prose. And so I think the important thing for us is to look from detail to detail to detail and great relaxation. Okay? We do it sometimes when we look at pictures, when we look at somebody we like. We will tend to look at details, but we're not motivated to look at details. And with time, the macula weakens, and especially the contact between the brain and the macula weakens. And also, we have so many details today, and we're overwhelmed by them. Mm-hmm. You go to a supermarket, you want to find the tomato jar that you need, the corn jar that you need. You don't pay attention to everything else. And it is so beautiful when you go to nature, and you don't need to think about what you want. You just look at everything that is there. and that's an important thing.
This is really cool. It's bringing up a lot of thoughts for me around, for instance, when we're in this world where there's so much stimulation and sometimes we're so overpowered by the detail, we turn to meditation. And the first thing we often hear from so many teachers is close your eyes. So that's making me think of that. And then it's also making me think of this whole forest bathing thing that's now become very popular in the scientific and wellness literature, of going out. I think it comes from Japan, and going out into the forest, going out into nature and opening up the senses to really absorb.
That's why our place is by the ocean. But let's go further about that.
Sure.
All right. So you close your eyes and you meditate.
Mm-hmm.
But then how can you keep meditating while going on your daily activities? So in my case, I had to do it in order to see. I had to be present with what I'm seeing. I was very satisfied with feeling, hearing, but I had to be present with details. What happens to most people,
wow, that's giving me chills.
They take their vision for granted and they start to not pay attention to details. And that is something that we need to review and work on it again. And the meditation of details is a very important meditation, basically.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Wow.
And so to continue my practice, I was very afraid of the sun. Mm-hmm. In fact, these days, doctors put the fear of God from people in the sun. But I learned actually to adapt to the sun. That protecting myself from the sun caused me more weakness with my vision. So I did a special exercise where I would close my eyes and I would move my head all the way from side to side. So if the sun was here, I would move my head all the way from side to side with eyes closed. And even though the eyes are closed, the pupils would constrict and expand, constrict and expand. That was a very interesting thing that happened.
Meir, I wonder if you could guide us very briefly on noticing the details around us.
Right. So that'll be a good thing. Don't take for granted the details that you have. For example, you can stand up in your room, look at your finger, stand and move from side to side and see as if everything in this room moves opposite than your finger. So you keep looking at your finger, and all of a sudden you're going to find details in your room you didn't pay attention to. Your room where you live, where details are that you didn't pay attention to. We call this exercise long swing. We normally stand and lift the opposite foot to do that. So slowly.
So you're balanced on one foot, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So slowly, we move from side to side, and we lift the heel of one foot, and then we lift the heel of the other foot.
Okay, so you keep one hand in front.
Right. We move from side to side, and we lift the opposite foot, the opposite heel.
Okay.
The opposite, we call it long swing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you'll see that there are many details you don't pay attention to. And there are many reasons you don't pay attention to details. Number one is boredom. What do you care? The details there is all the time. There is another reason, and this is sometimes things upset you in life, you know, so there could be all kinds of feeling inside of, I'm seeing someone I don't want to see. I'm seeing something I don't want to look at. That could definitely be one of the things that could happen to a person. And so looking at details is very important. For example, the natives in the jungle, when they look at details, they look at birds, they look at trees. They're very interested in everything. Everything is important. Sometimes it's an issue of life and death. If you don't look and you see a tiger coming your way, you may not be alive, you know. So,
sure.
So you're trained to look at every detail that exists. And we learn to not look at most details that exist. For example, I'm sure that sooner or later, the two of us forgot there's a television behind us.
Oh, yes.
Because we looked at each other, right? So the detail just went out of our mind, but it's right here. And anyone who looks at the document, forget there is a wall, there's a ceiling. So waving the hands to the side and looking at details is very important. I get people to read letters which are smaller than the ones that they can read.
Mm-hmm.
And if they read at letters which are smaller than the ones that they can read, they look at the spaces between the words because they cannot see the words. They look at the spaces between lines. And then they look back at the words they could read, and the words look clear as if they were magnified because they start to use the central part of the vision. The brain flexibility is amazing, but also the capacity of the brain to close down and to degenerate is great. And the biggest problems of the 21st century is degeneration. People degenerate on the right and left. Our systems degenerate. We die prematurely. And we always give to external remedies, external medication, the space to heal us. But the point is, we need to learn to relax. I just got a phone call of somebody who said, I just got high pressure in my eyes. I need to relax, but I'm tense all day. Well,
and even more tense after the phone call, I imagine.
No, so, you know, you got to tell him to do positive things because within him, he doesn't find a way to relax. And that is so important within us, we will. So I want to tell you something more about my relaxation.
Please.
One of my most important exercises was palming.
Okay. These
days, I use what we call a palming stick. And I can adapt this stick to it has a spring and holes. Some of them have screws and holes, but I can adapt this palming stick to where I say, oh, I need maybe one more hole. There you go. And I'm completely adapting. The important thing, and I want to touch you here,
sure,
is never put pressure. So it's like it is deep, but it is very gentle.
It's like the lightest touch.
Most people tend to put pressure. No good. It's absolutely no good because then you stop the light from coming. Yeah, and I can give you a palming stick and you sit on it.
But what do you mean we stop the light from coming? Because when you put your palms on my
eyes...
you
stop the light from coming. No, I said it wrong.
Okay.
We stop the blood from coming to the eyes.
So you want to stop the light, but you don't want to stop the blood. So you want it to be the lightest touch.
Exactly.
Okay. And then?
And here's what happens. If the touch is light, but not only light, nurturing, then your eyes are getting nurtured. And the nurturing of the eyes revives them.
Tell us what a nurturing touch means so that we can try it out right now.
A nurturing touch, which I hope everybody will do, you can put pillows on a table in your home, or on your chair. Best is on a table. And best is you get from us a palming stick, or meditation stick from a meditation store. And you put your elbows on the palming stick, and you put your hands very gently around the eye orbits. And when you do that, you nourish your eyes because the energy from your hands penetrates to the eyes. And if the eyes are tired or they need a good touch, that will make a very big difference. Okay?
That's so relaxing.
Yeah.
How long do you do this for?
Oh, I normally ask for people to do it for about 6 minutes minimum. And in your case, I can also, if you drop your shoulders, especially this one.
I don't think I know how to drop that shoulder.
I can massage it a little bit. And the massage I do is normally round. And if you are a family, you can massage each other's shoulders.
What you were saying about touch.
Yeah, and if you can breathe into your abdomen at the same time. Where I love to massage is right here, where the neck connects to the head, and right here, where there's a big hole. It's called foramen magnum. A lot of blood. Magnum is big, yeah. A lot of blood comes to the head. And I love to massage the head to bring more blood. And so if a person breathes deeply and relaxes.
Breathe, blink, relax.
Exactly. And visualize as if your head goes all the way to the sky. That is also a form of meditation, because everything makes the neck short. And I wish that we would have a camera where my hand is. And what I'm doing is I'm stretching the neck and I'm giving you a sense of lengthening.
We can turn around and show it to the camera if that's helpful.
Sure. Let's just show it.
Let's do that so that you can try this out.
By the way, how does the neck feel after that?
It feels really good. Also, my vision feels brighter. Like I can see more.
Isn't that nice?
Does that make sense?
It does.
I don't even know what that means. It just, it feels,
when the
I
eyes
see more.
Relax, more light comes to the eyes.
Light. Yeah, I see more light.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why the lights were so bright for you earlier, perhaps.
One of the my best student who had muscular dystrophy told me something that I will never forget. He told me the most important food in the world is light. Then is water, then is food. So while we want to eat healthy food, and we should, we also want to accept and bathe in light. It's one of the most dangerous things that medicine did these days, talking us out of being outdoors, talking us out of receiving all the light we can get.
You mean with like all the skin cancer fear?
Right.
And this, that?
For every one person that got a skin cancer for being outdoors, we have 5,000 to 6,000 who got osteoporosis for not being there.
Wow.
So, and many people, by the way, get skin cancer being indoors.
Fair enough. And all the products we put on. And you know what's interesting when you say that?
But also the eyes.
Yeah.
We're being told wear sunglasses. Well, I understand why you will wear sunglasses if you drive and the sun sets right in front of you or rises right in front of you. But normally you shouldn't need sunglasses. Normally sunglasses are something that you use in unusual occasions, like after a disease, or in your case, if you don't want anyone to know you're in a party, you can put sunglasses. But Basically, sunglasses prevent us from getting the light we need in our retina. And we need light. It makes us optimistic. Pay attention to how many people leave San Francisco in the summer in order to have the sun elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you have depressed people? Not in Italy, not in France, definitely not in southern France. The depressed people you have in Scandinavia. You have in Seattle. You know, they say that you call, what do you call a day after 2 days of rain in Seattle? Monday. So many people feel that the rain is hurtful to many things they want to do. I actually like the rain. I even run in the rain just with my bathing suit on. You know, I like it. But
back to the thing about light and natural light and the power of it. What I would notice when I was living up in Scotland is when I started using during winter when there's very little daylight, very few hours of daylight. I would use one of those full sun spectrum lamps on my desk all day long. It was only meant to be used for half an hour, but I used it all day long, and my migraine stopped.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, tell me why.
Because light is very helpful to the body. The way it combines with the blood vessels, it ends up secreting serotonin from the brain. But I want to tell you, I was in Scotland too. I was in a conference of natural vision improvement. I didn't live there ever, but I would come for a couple of weeks sometimes for workshops. I always went to the outdoors and took people to the outdoors.
Yeah.
Something they normally don't do without me. Even when I went to Quebec, Canada, I got people to stay outdoors much longer than they're used to. They're natives there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think being in the outdoors is a very important thing.
And that it helps the serotonin, it makes what does it do to the brain?
First of all, the coolness of the outside is so important. We all the time protect ourselves from being cold. And the result is we protect ourselves from having better blood flow. Because the real warming mechanism in the body should be blood. And if you do what needs to be done for the body, like loosen up the hip joints, loosen up the shoulder joints. And by the way, loosening up the hip joints and the shoulder joints is very interesting. It cannot be done without loosening up the fingers and the toes. So if you loosen up your body and you deal with fatigue, you don't allow fatigue to increase. For example, before this interview, I had a long session with a client, 4 hours. I worked with the same client. I'm capable of doing that. And she came here from England to get better, and there's a lot to work on. But before meeting you for this interview, which I feel I'm pretty fresh and doing okay, before meeting you, I lie down for 5 minutes in bed to relax. So when we meet, I can just do what I do. And that's exactly what I can say about my lectures. Always people say, I want to schedule you for a lecture. I said, but give me 2.5 hours rest before that. In the middle of each day, people should rest. I don't really believe in big siestas, like 2 hours, you take out from that. No, I more believe like in the 10, 15 minutes cat nap. Maybe you lie down for 10 minutes and 1 minute you're asleep. That's already is good. And it makes you fresh for the day. So let's return to the body. We have to meditate kinesthetically, the body's power to move and the body's ability to absorb nature. Yeah?
So I'm hearing you say 3 things about meditation. We have to meditate kinesthetically. That's part of the movement. That's part of the absorption of nature. Related to that, we can be meditating with our eyes open because A, that brings us more light, which the body so needs and is the most important food for the body.
Right.
And B, when the eyes are open, then we can transition that meditation into every moment.
Pay attention to the difference between meditators and hypnotists. When you're being hypnotized, you are away from the reality around you. When you meditate, you know the reality around you, but you expand it. So you're becoming a part of the universe. My name is not Meir Schneider. I am a person. And you're a person, and both of us are guests in nature. We all need to be open vessels to nature. And once we become open vessels to nature and detect what nature wants from us and respond to nature any way we can, we change many things. Our life can be longer, more productive, happier. We'll do what needs to be done in life, basically. So the point is to open ourselves to nature all the way.
And how do we do that?
So, for example, we have to remember that we forgot our periphery. Let's return to where we were before. So there's periphery. You're sitting in my periphery, but I'm seeing you in front. But your real body is right now to my side.
Uh-huh.
I easily can forget that you're here and just look here. What should I do? Wave my hands to the side. Yeah. And then we see more to the side. And let me bring some piece of paper to show you what we do.
Sure, okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay,
we'll just yak away for a little bit then. Yeah. So today I came up to see Meir in San Francisco and at his school, which is right next to the beach. And Meir, how long have you been in this building and your school has been here?
Since 2001, and my school is active since 1980.
1980, 2001. So that's quite a while. And it's such a nice treat to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me. It's so beautiful to look at all the doors and the colors and the amount of thought that's gone into this place and to feel the beautiful vibe here. It's amazing. I kind of feel like I've walked into this little oasis in the middle of a city.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of felt very strongly about that. I'm looking for a masking tape.
All right. I'm looking forward to this exercise. And yeah.
John,
here are some of Meir's books. Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing. Oh, this one. I'm going to show this one to the screen. Movement for Self-Healing. So coming back to the kinesthetic aspect of meditation.
This is like a mirror to people's life. You know, if you read this book, you'll see yourself in the book.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's very powerful.
So
what is this exercise?
So one exercise is I'm waving my hands. For example, look at me here at the screen.
All right.
But wave your hands and see if you have more sense of my existence when you do that. And wave them like this. And the reason I'm asking that question is that, sorry.
No problem.
The reason why I'm asking that question is that in the past, people paid attention to movement in the side of the field. If you don't pay attention to movement in the side of the field and you live in the jungle, it's only a question of weeks before you'd be eaten by an animal.
Mm-hmm.
You had to sense what moves there in the branches. There's always an animal that wants to eat you. There's also an animal you might want to eat yourself. And you would either starve to death.
Hey, but we do that when we're driving today, don't we? If you're driving down the highway and you have an awareness of this car over here, this car right here, the pedestrian over there, the dog over there.
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing. But look at how many accidents exist these days. And I think a big portion of it is not paying attention to what comes in your sight.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah?
Oh yes, particularly with all the technology that lets you know if there's someone in your blind spot now.
Right.
Yes, sure. Okay, point made.
So I am giving you the 4 pieces of paper.
All right.
And I'm giving myself. So
should I rotate the camera down a bit? Do you want people to see these?
Oh, absolutely. I want them to see them.
All
right. You and me.
I will twiddle around with this then. Okay.
Here.
All right. So what is this called?
This is a peripheral exercise that
Okay.
we'll do together.
All right. Is this something they can do at home?
I'm inviting them to do that.
All right.
And they can see the description of the peripheral exercise in my book, Awakening the Power of Self-Healing. It is in Amazon, it's in our website.
Fantastic.
Okay. So, first of all, wave your hands to the side.
All right. Waving our hands.
Above, below. Now, put this between your eyes.
Good thing I put my contacts and not my glasses in. All right.
And so wave your hand to the side.
All
There's a
right.
sense of me, yeah? Now, you put the orange one on.
Thank you.
And wave your hands to the side.
And I cover my eyes?
You are blocking your eyes.
Okay, but my eyes are still open.
Open, yeah. You breathe. And then you put
that part.
then you put the green one on and you wave your hand to the side.
I'm so curious as to the significance of these colors.
No significance,
Okay.
except when I teach so many classes, if I just will tell you size, people will do it wrong. If I say size and color, they get it. Okay? And then we put the very big black one.
The big back one going up.
And we wave and wave and wave. And then we rub our hands and palm for a short moment.
And again, it's coverage, but no pressure, right?
Mm-hmm. And you take a deep breath.
To the abdomen.
To the abdomen, yeah. And open your eyes and wave again.
Eyes open, waving again.
Yeah. And then we put the orange and we wave. And then we put the small one.
Cool.
And the question I want to ask you, is the small one smaller right now?
A lot smaller.
That means that the field of vision has grown.
Oh.
You can take it.
Wow.
So you have a bigger field of vision. Now contemplate it, bigger field of vision to you.
Wow.
Is that interesting?
It's like blinders on a horse, the opposite.
Right.
Because I'm blinding the front, but I'm moving. It's
right. You blinded the front for a short moment, so you will earn the sense of periphery for a long time.
And what I find really interesting is in this moment, I feel very acutely aware of my peripheral vision, and yet my eyes, they just seem focused on a point.
Exactly.
And I feel the sense of focused relaxedness that I feel when I'm genuinely relaxed.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is
so
yummy.
You're letting go of the tension that you have. Yeah, all of you try it. There's 4 pieces of paper. You can see it in our website.
Different lengths, right?
And in my books, yeah, different lengths for all of them. And you, first of all, wave your hands. In fact, there's another exercise where you cover one eye. You wave your hand to the side. You wave up and down from the hand to the elbow, elbow to the hand. You do the same thing on the other side. You wave. And then you open the 2 eyes and you wave. What I wanted to say is that, function affects structure.
What does that mean?
Means that if you don't activate parts of your body, it will affect you. For example, many people are stooped. Why are they stooped? Because they look downwards a lot, right?
At a phone.
Right, at the phone. Many people tilt their head because that's what they do. Exactly. And so what we really need to know is to affect our structure differently with movement. For example, in your case, when I feel your neck.
Yeah, we were going to show them how to do this.
One of the things that I wanted to say about your neck is that one of the exercises we do in my classes is walk and run backwards. And it's the smallest traction you can have.
So that scares me.
Smallest in the beach, where there is...
Walk and run backwards.
On the beach.
Okay.
Or on a big open space.
Okay.
So you turn to the side and turn to the other side to see what's behind you. And as you walk backwards and run backwards, you actually straighten your back and loosen it up.
Wow.
All right. So let me show everybody how I massage you.
So you tell me what's best? Is a side good or should I?
Side is great.
All right.
So
they're circular movements, are they?
Yes, circular movements. And again, remember the three cavities that I love to work on here. Right here, the styloforamens, where the nerves come in, and where the blood comes in is right here, the foramen magnum. And then I love to massage the head itself and to relax, to bring more blood to the head. That's why so many of us like to go to the hairdresser, because we like to be shampooed and massaged.
Well, we like that thing. The second cavity that you did, I feel like that's where it starts. That's where I start massaging myself whenever I start getting a migraine.
Right. And my suggestion is do it when you don't have a migraine. Do it regularly. Stretch those muscles. That's what meditating life is. Don't wait for trouble. Work on yourself on a regular basis.
That's so beautiful.
So
open-eyed, moving in the body.
And one thing I want to say to busy people, that you decide how you manage your time. For example, on the weekend, you can spend more time working on yourself. And I really believe in subtle movements. Not that I don't believe in vigorous movement. I walk and run on the beach 4 times a week, just with my bathing suit, where nobody dares being with a bathing suit. My neighborhood already knows me. I remember the conversation I had with an elderly couple the other day. The lady said, "Get out of here, you walk like this." And I said to her, yeah.
And I'm older than you are.
She said to me, "How often do you do it?" I said to her, 4 days a week for 40 years.
For 40 years?
40 years. And the husband says, "You're going to live to be 110.
Wow.
I said, "Only if I cut down sugar." So one thing that is clear is that we need to pay attention to our needs and what is it we need to do with ourselves. And our needs are not what we think. People think first sexual need, then appetite, then sleep. We have other needs.
And entertainment.
Exactly. We have another, and apparently we contribute to that part right now. But what we need is to also breathe. We also need to have a better kinesthetic sense of ourselves from within. And the result could be tremendous. I walked hundreds of people out of the wheelchair. I'm serving people who were supposed to die and they die years later. Mm-hmm. I work with people with joint problems, with different eye problems. And the big thing that I'm motivating people to do,
it shakes when you do that.
Take care of themselves, is spending time contemplating what can move them forwards.
That's incredible, Meir. That's incredible. How would you summarize what meditation means to you?
Meditation means contemplation of the total reality and not of the narrow reality that we experience. For one moment, to come in and see the universe as a whole and seeing you as a part of the universe and seeing you basically being in the universe as a total universe, and it speaks to you and through you to others. That's what meditation is. Acceptance. Emotional acceptance of your life, acceptance of your powers, acceptance of your potential. That's what meditation is.
That's so lovely. That's so lovely. And then there's 3 things you've shared with us specifically on what we can practice. One is the palming, and then you have a pillow. I guess that's to reduce the strain on the shoulder and relax.
And the touch must be very soft.
And then the massaging. Right.
I also shared with everybody the exercise of sunning, where you close your eyes and you move your head all the way from side to side. The sun is the best masseuse in the world. We have also exercise. We have also a nice exercise in front of the sky. We call it skying, where I blink at the sky and then I do the long swing that I was talking about.
Oh yeah, that one.
Okay. And then we talked about palming, taking a palming stick, and putting it and
that one's really
relaxing.
Nice.
Yeah, and relaxing the eyes. And we talked about peripheral vision. how to increase our peripheral vision. And to that, I want to add something else. When you look at a smartphone, when you look at me in your computer phone or living room, also before and after, look at the distance. The more you look at the distance, the better you see well. That's why our place is by the beach, which attracts the mind to look at waves.
You know, one thing I find very interesting about this particular video is somehow the way it's been set up, I think we've been slightly out of focus for so much of it, which I think goes so well with the topic of what we're speaking about, because it's highlighting the peripheral vision and highlighting the TV that I forgot is there, you know?
So I apologize to the people that were out of focus, but if you look at the different videos we have, we're very much in focus.
Thank you. Now, I know that you have a free gift that you would like to share or tell us about. Let us know what that is.
So the first 3 people who will contact us through this program.
So we'll send out a URL.
Can get this book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, with 600 exercises and 300 illustrations. And on April, by the way, I'm going to have a nice lecture in State University, which everybody is invited to come, in the holistic program at the classes of Dr. Eric Pepper, who's a pioneer in the biofeedback field, but he invites me to talk about my work.
That's amazing, Meir. Your work is incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your wonderful show.
Thank you.